Can self-improvement actually lead you to feeling worse off about yourself rather than better? In this video, I'll tackle that, but first, a story. This is Casey, and her hair covers her left eye for no damn reason. One day, her bald-headed boss comes up to her. Casey, we've been having some complaints. You need to be nicer to your co-workers. You need to be a team player. So she takes her home. Casey already believes she's a good person, but what her boss said won't leave her mind. Maybe I'm not nice enough, she said. So she decides to speak to her man, Billy Bob. Babe, my boss said that I need to be nicer to my co-workers. Ain't I already nice? What is he talking about? She said. Then Billy Bob looks her in her one eye and said, I mean, you can be a bitch sometimes, he replies. So Casey slapped the shit out of him. Because how dare he? Then she buys herself some self-help books on cooperation. I am going to be nice and a team player now, Casey declared. Yet, no matter how much she read and incorporated the advice from these books, she never felt nice enough. However, with enough effort, Casey learned. She returned to work with a smile that wasn't her own, and laughing at corny jokes from coworkers she did not find funny. To be continued. Hello YouTube, I'm Trenzel and I'm here for your self-growth, and there are many traps to self-growth. Today we'll be tackling some of those traps, and I'll be giving you my best tips on how to avoid them. Tip number 1. Love and accept yourself as you are now. The biggest assumption in self-growth is that you aren't good enough where you are now. That where you are now, who you are now, is not enough. This assumption is dangerous and toxic because it always leads you to feeling like you're one step away, one decision away, one choice away from changing your life. That you're always there, but you're never good enough where you are. That you're constantly moving forward, but you're never appreciating where you are, never loving where you are. This creates a huge problem because it's based on an assumption that if you don't continue on, if you don't continue growing, if you don't continue bettering yourself, that somehow you're less than. You get so fixated on growth, on growing, on continuing your self-growth journey, that it leads you into a trap. You're always growing, but you're never good enough. There's a natural assumption here. If you were already good enough as you are, you wouldn't need self-growth in the first place, right? This is a problem. Because part of self-growth, one of the biggest keys to self-growth, is loving and accepting yourself for who you are right now. If you can't do that now, why would you expect to do that in the future? You're expecting to do something at some future point, at some unknown future point, that at some unknown future point that you will love and accept yourself, that you will love and accept yourself after years of work, after years of going forward, stepping into your power, and at that point, you will love and accept yourself. But a key to self-growth is being able to do that now. In fact, it's one of the most important things you can do. You're always one step away from where you want to be, but never are the person you want to be. This leads to a perpetual cycle where you're growing and growing and growing, but never are who you want to be. The curse of self-growth is that no matter how much you do, it's never enough. You have to be cautious because it's hard to stay motivated when you're listening to the little voice inside your head telling you that you aren't already enough. And ain't. Little voice inside your head, and I'm taking charge over these dusties. Love and accept yourself? Everybody say that. The fuck does that even mean? That's a platitude, and it don't got no latitude. See what I did there? Just like your hairline when it go from horizontal to vertical. I'm the one in charge. And who said that you was worth accepting and loving anyways? You ain't even did I'ma grill your high heat, no sauce. Cause first off, you look like a J.O.B. just over broke, just like the rest of us. You underpaid with a side of overtime. Y'all wasting my time. And y'all got like 7 things y'all should be doing right now. Haven't even finished 2. Don't think that you hot neither. You haven't even found the 6th figure, let alone the 7th. And this what I'm expected to love and accept? That's why your bottom teeth is crooked. That's right. Really? Okay. The key tenet to tip 1 is knowing that you are already good enough as you are now. If you don't feel good enough as you are now, if you can't do that now, you might not be able to do that in the future. You shouldn't assume your future self will be able to do what your current self cannot. It's a balancing act, whereas you embody the person you desire to become. And like usual, you want to take me as an example, right? So, accepting yourself and loving yourself is something that people don't value highly enough, I don't think. And it's said so much that you should love and accept yourself that it's almost become like some sort of overused phrase, and you hear it again and it just goes in one ear and out the other. It loses meaning because you hear it over and over and over, the importance of loving yourself. But here is the thing. Human beings are like cups. You fill those cups with water and love, right? But you can't accept anything beyond your cup. So if your cup of self-love is, say, this big, and someone gives you love beyond that amount, the excess just flows out. That's how I view it. Until you can learn to love yourself, you won't believe what other people say. You won't be able to handle the love that other people give to you. You can only handle as much love as you can give to yourself, as much love as you believe you deserve. That's why, for me personally, I've had a hard time being able to really accept love. I could give love easily, but accepting love is something that I'm actively working on, still working on to this day. And I've gotten significantly better at it because my self-love has grown. That's where this example comes from. It's very difficult to accept a compliment when you don't see yourself being that person. If someone says, "Oh, you're so sexy," but you don't believe you're sexy, in one ear out the other. You can only handle what you believe about yourself, and that's what makes self-love important. Moreover, the biggest importance of self-love is being able to value yourself. If you cannot value yourself highly enough, you look outside for external sources of validation, external sources of value. You place your value on external things, on people to fill you up. But you have to be able to give that value to yourself, and you start by being able to love, accept, and value yourself. I struggled with this for many years. That's why I wanted a relationship so badly. That's my example from me. I've searched for a relationship for well over a decade and was unsuccessful. But I spent so much time looking outside of myself for the love that I should have been giving to myself. It's a very disheartening lesson that I've learned. And it placed me in a position whereas I love myself now more than ever, and I still have to keep growing into that love and learning to place some of that love that I would give to someone else to me. It's a very difficult thing to capture this lesson fully and to embody this lesson. But until you can love and accept yourself for where you are, you should not be able to expect to instantly be able to do that in the future. It might not happen. In a previous video, I spoke on transitoriness, on impermanence. And in that video, I spoke on how impermanence in where you are now, that your current circumstances, situations that you're in now won't last. So things are constantly in flux, constantly changing. And I said that you should appreciate your current situations and circumstances where you are now because they won't last. By that same logic, when you appreciate where you are now, you learn to do things in the now. And you don't take for granted the now and overvalue the future, because the future is not guaranteed. Only the now is. So if the things are constantly in flux, constantly in shift, you might not get a chance to love yourself in the future as much as you can love yourself now. You should never take for granted the power of the now and overvalue the future in relation to the now. By that same logic, and this goes a bit above the lessons, but by that same logic, you should really try not to obsess about future problems in the now. You're going to return back to school because back to school is coming, so you stress about school. You're going to return back to work because the weekend's almost over, so you stress about work. But that's not in the now. You're stressing about your future issues right now. And stressing takes mental and emotional effort and a toll. Number 2, becoming but never being. This trap is about always becoming but never being. It's a dangerous trap where you're stuck in this perpetual cycle of always becoming the person you want to be, but never embodying the person you want to be. In order to accomplish growth, you must not just become the person you want to be, you must embody that person. You must associate it with your identity. It is the difference between an overweight person, or any person for that matter, deciding to themselves, I want to eat healthy. That's what they want. So that's the person that they're becoming. So that's the person they're working toward, a person that eats healthy. But you're always becoming that person, but you're never embodying that person. You're never taking that identity into yourself and saying, I am this person. So it's a difference between I want to eat healthy and I am a healthy eater. You can apply this concept to a lot of different examples. The difference between a person that wants to work out all the time. So I want to work out all the time. I want to always work out and be a person that's fit and vigorous and all that. The fit and vigorousness. You want the fit and the vigorousness. So you try to work out. You want to work out. But you want to associate it with your identity. That's the difference between becoming and being. So you channel the ideal self. You channel the self you want to become. So it's a shift in mindset. And mindset is so very important in self-growth. So you go from saying, I want to become a person that works out to saying, I am a person that works out frequently. I'm a person that works out regularly. I am a person that works out. I am a person that's a bodybuilder. I am a person that is beautiful. Instead of saying, I want to become beautiful, I am a person that is beautiful. I am a person that is loving. I am a loving person. I am a nice person. You want to quit smoking. Instead of saying, I want to quit, or I'm trying to quit, you say, I don't smoke. I'm a person that does not smoke. That's who I am. That's part of my identity. It's a subtle shift in mindset, but it's very important. Because instead of trying to become all the time, which is a trap. Because if you're always becoming, you're never being. You see, that's the difference. It's about closing the distance between the person you want to be and the person you are. Speaking more on distance, we often think that there's this huge gulf between the person we want to be and the person we are. But that is a mental construct. It is an illusion. There is no distance. You think that there's a distance because you imagine this person being great and fantastic and doing all the things you want to do, right? Your ideal self and the person you want to be, the person you want to become. And then you see the person you are, who you are right now. You see this huge difference, this huge gulf. Okay, I can't put my hands out too wide now because I don't know if I'm in the shot. Am I still in the shot? I don't know if I'm in the shot, so I can't. Do you see that? You don't see that. The gulf is huge between where you want to be and where you want to be, who you are. Okay, that's the gulf. It's a gulf. Okay, I ain't talking about the white balls. The gulf. Okay, it's not a hole in one. Okay, it's a gulf. It's a big distance. Okay, like this big, right? Let's say it's about this big. That better be in the shot too. So it's about this big. The person you want to be, the person you are. And you think, how the hell do I get from here to here? So you're constantly becoming. Sometimes you take a few steps back, but you're becoming. But here's the thing. That's the process of becoming. You do like this, and do like this, and do like this, and do like this, and do like this. And maybe you get there. Maybe you don't. But that's the mental construct in the first place. You're not actually supposed to be doing this. In my opinion, that this isn't how you go about it. Okay? Instead, you want to close that gap mentally and say to yourself, I am that person. I embody that person. The characteristics of that person, I embody them. It's a shift from becoming to being. And that's a huge trap of the self-growth world. Always becoming, but never being. Always working towards it, but never are it. Saying that you want this and you want that, but not handling the mindset shift of associating it with your identity. There's so many things that you can associate with your identity. If you're a nice person, you believe you're a nice person, you become that. And whenever somebody says, oh, you're like this and you're like that, if you believe that about yourself, you will instantly accept what they're saying. If you already think you're a nice person and somebody says, oh, you're very nice, you say, yeah, I know, thank you. But if you believe you're a nice person, somebody says, you're just mean. You're just such a mean person. You're like, you a lie. I ain't mean to nobody. What are you talking about? Just like if you believe you're ugly, somebody says you're ugly, you don't have any resistance to that. You say, yeah, I know I don't look good. If somebody says you're beautiful, then there's resistance. This is why you want to have that shift. Are you having issues with self-growth too? Just like I am. Just like probably a lot of people are. Okay. If you are, tell me about them in the comments below. Also, if this video is giving you value in any type of way, please remember to like and subscribe. I appreciate subscribers. I want to subscribe. I would like one. No, I'm gonna be greedy now. I want 2 subscribers. 2 subscribers. Help. The next tips are different traps of the self-growth space. So stay tuned for them. Also, toward the end, I will give you an action step to help you overcome these traps. Tip number 3, doing what others expect of you rather than what you want. In life, you will often go through periods where people tell you what they want from you, what they expect from you, what they'd like for you to do. This is unhealthy because it is a trap. And it's often a trap that we overlook. We don't even pay it any mind. We don't even realize it's happening some of the time. People just come up to us, tell us, you should be kinder. And just by doing that one thing, telling you what you should be, or you're not a team player, what? Or you don't get along with very many people, or you're always to yourself. You should be more open. You should be more outgoing. So we're under the influence of other people all the time, and we have to be mindful of that. We have to be mindful and always keep in mind what we want, and that is separate from what other people want of us. Those are 2 separate identities. We have to remember that self-growth is a personal process first and foremost. You take advice from others to become the best version you can be. The best version of you that you can be. But you become the best version of you that you can be for you. Not the best version you can be for your spouse, for your mother, for your parents, for your grandparents, for your friends, for your co-workers, for your boss. Not for society either. Self-growth is a personal process. You have to do it for you. So this leads to a big trap here. And it's called inauthenticity. There's another trap hidden within this. It's actually very easy in self-growth to be inauthentic to who you are. So you will end up growing in a direction that is inauthentic to who you are and who you want to be and who you want to become. Inauthenticity is a very easy trap to fall into. It happens when you grow for other people's benefit rather than for your own benefit first and foremost. And sure, you can balance these things out, but you have to grow for yourself first and foremost, and that is also a form of self-love. So you're growing in a direction that is inauthentic to who you are based on other people's opinion and based on what society expects of you and based on what everyone else expects of you, but not based on what you want. And by doing that, you can lose sight of what you want and lose sight of the person you want to become. You can lose sight of your authentic self. Then you have to go finding it. You have to go on a scavenger hunt. It's somewhere over the rainbow. It's with the leprechauns. And those leprechauns, they be some mean peoples. You know, for me, it took me a long time to separate myself and what I wanted for me from the expectations of others. That took many years because I didn't realize it was happening. Because I was focused on my self-identity of being a good son, being a good grandson, being a nice person, being a person that wanted to be well loved, being a person that wanted to be honest. All these identities was inside of me. But those identities were not necessarily in alignment with my authentic self and who I really am. And as a result, it made me feel invisible, which is part of the reason I started this channel. It's why authenticity is so important. For me, being authentic to myself means living in alignment with what I want, rather than what other people want of me. That means sometimes you have to make decisions that other people won't like. But you make it for you. And when you do something for you, your respect for yourself increases. That's another thing we don't realize. Our self-image is everything. Our self-respect is everything. Every time you betray yourself for somebody else's benefit, you lose respect for yourself internally. And you don't always realize it's happening. So you really have to do some internal work and internal soul searching to see, yeah, this is happening. I actually don't think too highly of myself because I'm betraying myself for the benefit of everyone else but me. So I feel disillusioned with myself. And you get internal conflict too. You can get internal conflict between what you're supposed to be doing, what you want to be doing, and what other people want for you or expect of you. And that conflict can cause internal stress. A mind in conflict cannot be a mind at peace. You cannot be in conflict with yourself and expect peace. Number 4, be who you want to be and then you'll be happy. That's such a good one right there. What the hell do I say next? I don't know. I didn't write this part down. It's just a good point. So with number 4, being the person you want to be and then you'll be happy, it presumes that the only way that you'll find happiness is to be who you want to be the person you want to be, become the person you want to be. Say, for example, you want to be a person with a really high-paying job. That's what you want to be. So you work towards that. You work towards becoming. Perhaps you get there, perhaps you don't. But let's say you get there. Then you can be happy. Then you're allowed to be happy. But it's a dopamine hit. You're only happy temporarily. You're happy for a little bit, then you go on to the next thing. That's something that you have to realize about happiness. Happiness needs to exist in the present moment through accepting and acknowledging the current situation, the current events that you have going on. Because you're not always fully in control of things and situations and circumstance. You're in control more than you think, but you're not fully in control. And because of that, you have to take happiness where you can get it. In the now. Not expect it at some distant point in the future. And I think it really does help the more authentic you are to yourself, and the more you love yourself, and the more you respect yourself, the more you build yourself up. That does not guarantee happiness, mind you. Okay? But the more you build yourself up, happiness becomes easier to have, easier to manage, and easier to maintain, and you're happier with yourself. Happiness should not be thought of as some event in the future. It should be thought of as something you actively do now. Happiness comes from acceptance and love in the now. And like I said, situations and circumstances are impermanent. They're shifting, they're changing, they're doing this. See what I'm saying? See? Ooh, wow. Mm-hmm. Number 5 is the dangers of comparison. You compare yourself to other people's success, but your success and your life path is naturally going to be different from theirs. And comparison, like they say, is the thief of joy. It is a trap. Because you're so focused on someone else's life, you lose sight and lose focus of your own. Every success comes from focused action and a focus on yourself and a focus on what you want and a focus on your values. Looking at other people's path and other people's life, they were focusing on themselves too. Okay, they weren't paying you no mind. You should not overvalue an external focus. It should be balanced with your intrinsic needs and your intrinsic wants. And most of the time, you should place a priority on your own wants and intrinsic values. You don't want to overvalue someone else's journey as if you're going to be taking the same exact journey, because you won't. You might be able to replicate some of their success by repeating some of the things they do, but your path will naturally be different from theirs, and always will. So my lesson here is that you aren't actually behind. You're meant to be where you are right now. And you have the power and you have the cards to change where you are right now. The more you focus on becoming and harnessing the power of your ideal self to become the person you want to be, the more you focus your energy there, the more you're able to focus on yourself and build yourself up rather than focusing on distractions, because comparison is just another distraction. And it's one of the most toxic distractions. I'm trying to tell you, I'm trying to do a little something on YouTube. Don't tell nobody. But I'm trying to actually do a little something on YouTube to get about 2 different subscribers. Number 6 is my challenge to you. I challenge you to embody one trait of your ideal self, one character trait. So if your ideal self is nice, if your ideal self is wealthy, if your ideal self is financially free, if your ideal self is muscular, fit, athletic, if your ideal self is kind, more humble, or if your ideal self is just stands up for yourself more, just more confident in general, embody one of those traits. You must close the distance. Because that distance doesn't actually exist in reality. It's a figment. It's an illusion. There is no distance. You can think, well, I'm not actually that way yet. If you embody that person, your external reality becomes in alignment eventually with your internal reality. This, I think, might actually be the law of manifestation right there. You think, being a spiritual person, I know a little something about this, but let me just say that there is no way in hell that your external reality just stays, because we're all interconnected. There is no way in hell your external reality stays exactly the same when you yourself is completely different. What's in order has a tendency to go to disorder. And that is impermanence personified. It is a tendency of reality to change situations and circumstances. Even tectonic plates, something as massive and as tectonic plates, it changes over time. Meaning that far off into the future, the land masses we have won't be the same. The positions of the ocean won't be the same. The positions of the sea won't be the same. What makes you think that if you change yourself, that your circumstances won't change? They'll have to. All right, that's that. Let's continue our story off and see how Cassie is doing. Casey realized that she wasn't being herself. She asked, "What's the point of growing if I'm growing into what everyone else wants, but not into what I want?" So she stopped immediately. Maybe she was no longer a team player, but she found herself liking who she was. Ain't no point in growing for others to make myself miserable. Maybe I'll grow more into me next time. This is Casey. And she said what she said. Another successful video, and I got my outro. Everything is percolating, everything is good, and it's over here and over there. And you got 2 videos, you see 2 over here. See that? Uno y dos. The hell does that mean? Uno y dos? I don't think that's proper. But look, I think I just spoke some Spanglish because that definitely wouldn't pop. My Spanish teacher would be mad as hell. She'd slap the hell out of me right now. Listen, it's a 1 or a 2, okay? Bye!